Welcome back to the Crush the Rush podcast. This week, we are diving in deep into the world of AI and how you can leverage this powerful technology without getting overwhelmed to simplify your business and boost your productivities. I'm going through 3 easy ways that you can automate your business in 2025, get more comfortable with AI, and really embrace it as a tool to help you scale your business. We are getting super specific about AI prompts to use, how to set up the AI tool of your choice, and really easy ways that you can use it to start automating your own business. So whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, this episode is going to equip you with the knowledge and tools to embrace AI and really start to lean into it for the new year. Welcome back to this week's Pep Talk. If you haven't noticed, starting in 2025, our Pep Talks are airing on Monday. And the reason we did this is the goal is to give you something tangible you can take away, like an action item every single week. And it just felt like Monday was a great day to do this. So now we're going to start the week strong. So as I went into planning this episode for the new year, I knew that AI was going to be a hot topic, and it's such a big deal in the online space right now and is honestly everywhere. So when I started to think about how to incorporate AI into our business, I honestly got overwhelmed because there are so many apps and scripts and tools, and it just feels like, oh my gosh, like where do I start? What do I do next? And it also, I can see it and it feels like every piece of software has its own AI tool as well. And so I started to just like shut down, which I don't know if you do this when you're introduced to something new. It's like, okay, I can go all in, or I just shut down and ignore it. And so I caught myself like shutting down of like, okay, I'm just not going to think about it right now. But I was like, you know what? That's really not the best strategy. I know that AI is here to stay. I also have some friends that are really amazing at it, and I can see it helping them in their business and in their personal lives. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to shut down anymore, but I'm going to set some goals. And so I personally set out 2 goals as it relates to AI in 2025. The first one is just acknowledging that it's not going to go away. And if I wanted to, and if you want to compete in the online space, you need to learn it and really figure out the best way to incorporate it inside your business. And then 2, I wanted to be really strategic, surprise, about how to use it. And so I set a mission, right? Like, how can I personally learn AI to better serve my clients, right? And our mantra inside the Crush the Rush community is to do less better. So 1, I was just now going to say like, hey, I'm embracing it. Like, we're going to figure it out. We're not going to shut down. And 2, let's be intentional with it. Let's set out a mission. Like, how do we want to use AI in our business? And so before I get into the meat of this episode, which is how to incorporate AI into your business, and what I think you should do to get started is I really want you to set a goal. And I personally think you should embrace it because we want to be competitive and we want to make smart business decisions and we want to be up to speed on the latest and greatest things. But also, like, we want to use it for good, right? To save time, to deliver a better customer experience, to save you time so you can spend more time with your family and doing things that you love. And so think of it as something that's actually going to help you as well and your clients. And so what this looks like for me is, number 1, going back to your goals and missions. And so really thinking about, if you want to incorporate AI into your strategy this year, go back to your goals and mission and think about, how do you want to incorporate it and what does that look like? For us, I made a list of programs and communities that we have, and I brainstormed how AI could better support our clients, right? This is a really, really easy step. So I just want you to slow down and think about it. If you're watching the YouTube video, I will show you. We literally did this over Christmas break. I brainstormed all the different ways that we could incorporate AI, or things that I thought would help our clients incorporate AI in their business. And so going into 2025, the easiest way that I thought that we could incorporate AI was to come up with scripts, right? Those are things that I'm always looking for. What are scripts that can help you, can help your client? You can just like copy and paste and get something intentional out of it and create assistance. So this is like the thing that I am embracing, and that is creating bots or assistants inside our programs. So we're starting with our membership first, and we have created the Crush the Rush crew. The crew is a series of bots or assistants. And I worked with Hattie from Fun Stands Marketing to create bots for different tasks, which is actually a bonus tip. So lean into an expert. I did not know how to do this. And I strategically set out to say, like, this is my mission. This is what I think that I need to do. And then who can I best learn from? So we are creating different AI assistants or bots inside our programs to help you with what we teach. So as an example, we have Ava, who is, it's hard to say. Ava is our help statement assistant. She helps you create a help statement, which is what I teach inside the very first module of Antisocial School. It sits inside our club and it sits inside Antisocial School. So when you log into either one of these programs, you get introduced to Ava. Ava is programmed by me to the formula that we use to what I teach inside Antisocial School. I actually took the transcripts from Antisocial School and uploaded them into Ava. She has my voice, my tone. She even has our brand colors. And when you use Ava, she will help you create a help statement and a way to explain your business in a very succinct way. So that's just an example of something that we are doing, but it came from this mission and vision of like, what do I really want to do? And so we're creating these bots to create content to help with the help statement. That's Ava. To design a low ticket offer, to utilize our content repurposing model. I'm most excited for this one because we have a really robust repurposing model and we are programming the bot. I don't have a name for this one yet inside the Crush the Rush crew to use our repurposing formula to help you come up with more content. So I will release the bots and share them in the Crush the Rush Club as we come up with them, but I'm doing it one step at a time. And so that's the other tip that I want to share is you don't have to know everything. You can be open with your audience like I'm doing now and your clients and share what you're doing and how you're learning. Everyone loves a good behind the scenes. And you can brainstorm with your clients and your audience about what would be helpful for them. So that's step number one is I want you to think about your mission and your vision and what would be most helpful for you and your audience, and then pick one or two things to start with, which goes to number two. Step number two is pick an AI tool and stick to it. So I use Google Gemini to start with. I did design our AI assistants in ChatGPT because it's a little bit more robust from a programming perspective. They are all good. I did a whole episode on this. It's episode 436, but just pick one. There are so many and you can get overwhelmed. So pick one, start small and experiment. So in episode 436, I chat about creating channels. I chat about how to program your AI tool. A really great thing that you can do is if you have a brand book or you answer questions to describe what you do. So you could actually go into Google Gemini and you could say, like, I want to create a brand book that describes what I do so that anyone who picks it up will know who my audience is, what my tone is, what I teach, and all the things that you might find in a brand book. What are some questions that I can answer? And it will give you the questions. Then you can answer the questions and you can re-upload it into the AI tool that you're using so that it has everything about you. And so that is actually essential to using any AI tool. And so you don't want to switch between tools because you want to make sure that you're training it to work with how you're working. The other tip that I have for picking an AI tool and sticking to it is create a channel for each thing that you're doing. So I have a channel for podcast writing, a channel for content creation, a channel for each of our programs. And then every time I go to create for any of these topics, I just go back to these channels because they're trained. Now, you might say, Holly, this feels like a really big step. It is initially, but you don't have to redo it, right? So, and I would argue that creating this like brand guide is actually a really great step for anything that you're doing in your business. And so there are other ways that you can also get started using one AI tool. Like I said, pick one and just start small and experiment. So if you're a content creator, you could just start with asking it to draft social media captions or to write product descriptions or to brainstorm blog post titles. If you are running meetings or hosting meetings, you could ask it to summarize meeting notes. You could ask it to generate ideas for different campaigns that you have. The thing that I have learned is to just be really, really specific. So instead of draft, social media captions for this post, you should say, act as a content creator and then share what the thing is that you want your readers or listeners or watchers to do. And then say, write 5 social media captions for my new product launch, but you have to be so specific. Talk to it like a person, tell it the role that you want it to do, and then let it generate ideas, and you can continue to ask it questions. The key takeaways, I think, with picking an AI tool is start with really simple tasks, just like play around with it, and then, experiment with different prompts. And the things that you can learn is to really determine how much you want to rely on Gemini for content and how much you want to rely on it for ideas. I feel like the best way to start using AI is to use it to generate ideas and then lean into it from there. The other thing that I would say, and this is actually step number 3 of how to incorporate AI, is document what works. So I just gave you a ton of ideas. Play around with them, which is step number 2, but then write down, right? So this isn't a fancy step, but when you write down a prompt that works, save it. So one of the biggest ways that I use AI is content repurposing. Every single week, we repeat the same task. We write out the podcast goes to the blog goes to the email goes to the social post, and we map out the prompts best for us. I have them in a folder. I will go back to it. I will copy and paste it. And so it's just really, really helpful to reuse what has worked before. One of the prompts that we use so often is generating blog posts, because we can use the transcripts from our podcast. We can use different things that I've taught, and we can create blog posts, which then on the back end gives us SEO and searchable content. And so I'm going to give you an example of a way that you could ask ChatGPT or Google Gemini to create a blog post for you, but I want you to see how specific it is. So as an example, you would log into the AI tool of your choice, step number 2, and you would say, I need help generating a content brief for a blog post. Here's some basic information. So what are the topic interests? What's your target audience? What's the desired outcome? And what's the unique angle, right? And then you can say, based on above, could you help me brainstorm a few blog post ideas? And then you could also say, help me choose out of these ideas a title and meta description, an engaging introduction, SEO words that align with this post. And so you could go deeper and deeper and deeper once you have those ideas. And so the goal is that once you get the transcript or the prompt that works, save it. So I will save this prompt. I have it in my notes. Every week I go in, it writes the blog post for me from our podcast transcript, and it's just really, really easy. Another script that we use is act as a copywriter. I gave this example earlier. Write a short, engaging social media post for Instagram promoting the following blog post. So now I've taken something that I've already written and I said, hey, let's turn it into a short, engaging social media post promoting something on social media. So one of the ways that we use saved scripts or things that have worked well is through generating blog posts every week. So our blog posts are really important because it drives SEO, it drives organic traffic, and we can take our podcast transcripts and turn them into long-term blog posts in maybe 15 seconds with really awesome scripts. And so this would be an example, something that you would want to save because it works well. And so you can use your tool of choice, step number 2, to generate a blog post. You could use it to generate blog post ideas. You could also use it to repurpose. And so an example of a prompt would be, I need help generating a blog post. Here's some basic information. And this is where you want to load up Google, Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever your tool is with your information. So you could load it up with topic interest, any general topics of interest like technology, health, finance, whatever the thing is that you're doing. You could tell it more about your target audience. You want to describe who you're writing for, their interests, their challenges. I actually have a Google Doc that has all this written. So I just copy and paste it in every time. Your desired outcome. What do you want them to learn? What do you want them to feel when they're reading? Anything you can do would be so specific. And then if you want to take a unique angle, one of the things that I share quite a bit is this life priorities based business model where I want to offer a unique perspective or a solution for someone that doesn't have a lot of time. And so based on the above information, you put all that in there, you could say, brainstorm a few blog post ideas that would help appeal to my target audience. And then it would give you a list of all these ideas. Then you could take it a step further and say, generate a title and meta description, help us with an introduction that outlines why the topic is so important, give us the SEO words behind the scenes to make it searchable and findable. And there's just so many cool things that you can do. So this is an example of something that I would save and I would come back and I would reuse the same script every single week. The other thing that you can do, and I shared a little bit about this in step number 2, is be so specific when you're asking it what you want it to do. So I would say, if I was asking it to create content, act as a copywriter. Write a short, engaging social media post for Instagram promoting the following blog post. And then I would put the blog post in the tool because the blog post is your words. You could also do this from a transcript. There's so many cool things that you can do. And I would say include a concise and captivating hook to grab attention. Include a key takeaway or benefit from reading the blog post, a relevant call to action, and 3 to 5 hashtags to increase visibility. And so I have saved these every single week. So when I go in and I execute our content repurposing strategy, I can use them in the appropriate channels. And so if I post something about the club or I'm sharing something about the club, then I'll put it in the club channel. If I'm talking something about Ditch the Social Drama, then I'll do it in the Ditch the Social Drama channel. And it will just continue to learn and grow as you do. And so if you have a podcast, another cool thing that you can do is you can download the last 30 days of activities. You can dump it into Google Gemini or ChatGPT, and you can ask it to analyze it for you and make recommendations. Now, keep in mind, you've trained your channel to be you, right? Who do you serve? What do you do? How do you talk? And so when you download data, in this example, then you can ask it to analyze it and give you recommendations for things that are going to make you more successful in the future. You can also use it to create titles, subject lines, keywords, everything. The key is to stick to your mission and vision, number 1. Stick to one tool, get to use it really well and train it, and then save the things that are working well. So these are just a few ways that I have been embracing it instead of shutting down. But I do have one really fun non-business hack on how we're using ChatGPT and Gemini. I actually learned this from a networking event that we did inside our Crush the Rush Club. We do them every quarter. And one of my favorite prompts is, how are you using AI? And we get all these different ideas. And so one of our members shared that they take all the recipes that they want to make for the week. So if you're like me, you have millions of notes and they're everywhere and you pull them all together and then you dump them into your AI tool and you ask it to make a grocery list. It's so cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a game changer. There's just so many cool things you can do. You can plan trips. You can just do so much with it. So we'll have to come back and do a part 2 for this episode. But hopefully at this point, you get the idea. I want you to brainstorm what your goal is with AI this year. And then let's embrace it, right? Let's take it slow. Let's pick a tool. Let's write down what works. Let's continue to learn. Let's go back to our steps and really be open to new ideas and to try it. So I hope this helps you embrace AI in 2025. I would love to know what you are using it for. And if you want to see how we're using it, head on over to the Crush the Rush Club. It's hollymurrayhaynes.com/club. You can meet our Crush the Rush crew, hard to say fast, which are our AI assistants, which we've designed in a lot of the ways that I've talked about to help you create more content, to help you be smarter with your strategy. And you can really see how powerful AI can be.